Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to take a look at starting a farm. Now this is not a tutorial on how to play the game or like how do I make my harvester work, that kind of stuff. This is more of a look, an in-depth look into making decisions about how you want your farm to run. I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do to increase your profitability, along with maybe ways that you can make money aside from just doing the farming. There's this game now with Farming Sim 17 has added several different methods to making extra income along with your crops. And then there's also a cheat that I'm going to show you towards the end. It's not really a cheat. It's a mechanic of the game that seems like it's a little bit overpowered or a lot overpowered, but we'll go through that. So we're going to be looking at this game in a non-modded sense, though we can, maybe I'll take a look at some of the DLCs, but we are going to be looking at it in a semi-non-modded fashion. Here is a new game. The first thing that we need to look at is the 3 different levels of difficulty. I know this is a little bit silly, but I want to kind of go through what there are big differences between these levels of difficulty, where they used to not be such a big difference between the 3 different versions. On easy, with like Farm Sim 15, it was like the loan amount was different on each one, and then you had a little bit more money. Well, on this one, the whole market changes according to what you pick. So on easy, you get a lot of money for your crops. You start with a little bit more money, but you get a much smaller loan. I think you start with like a $50,000 or $75,000 loan, but you have enough to borrow a lot of money if you need to. Workers cost less. On normal, well, it's kind of in the middle. Crop prices are average. You have more of a loan already taken out, and your workers cost a decent amount of money, but they're still not like crazy unaffordable. On hard mode, also on easy, you don't have to plow, and you only need to use 1 fertilizer pass. With normal, if you want to get full crop yield, you need to plow every 3 crops. So you can plow, cultivate, plant, cultivate, plant, cultivate, plant, and harvest 3 times, and then you have to plow again. If you want to get full crop yield. Same thing with hard. Hard just really is very difficult. In fact, if you want to have fun and grow quickly, normal's the best mode to choose, to be honest with you. Hard is really difficult to make a farm grow. Now, if you're in for a challenge, well, there you go. I actually find myself playing on normal more than I do on hard. I just want to have fun a lot of times. I'm not really in the mood for like a really long grind. So, but if you're in for long grinds and making just a little bit of money, play hard. Picking normal, we're going to go to Goldcrest, which is the default map. We also have Sosnovka. I am adding in the Coon Pack and the Big Bud DLC, though we may not really use those for this. We're going to try to stick with in-game stuff so that you guys don't have to necessarily modify your game to do what I'm telling you about. I know some of you don't have the Coon DLCs and stuff like that, so... All right, so we have our farm. The first thing we're going to do is assess our equipment. I press P, go into the garage, and I look and see what we got. These tractors are heavily used. Now, if you're looking at mod maps, the tractors are going to be in much better shape. But they're really bad here. So we have some crappy equipment to work with, though. The Great Plains seeder, it's really thin, but it also fertilizes. So you get a fertilization pass with this along with seed. You're still going to need another fertilizer, though. But this is, I mean, if you want to work with the starting equipment, you can. I'm going to show you my personal recommendation for this. But the very first thing I would do before I start selling anything, you want to look into your, no, get out of here, sorry. You want to go to your menu, get your map overview, hop over to the prices, and you can see here you have at least $30,000 or $40,000 worth of crops. Now we're playing on normal. This will be less money when you play on hard and you have less crop, but we have a decent amount to start with, and we can sell this and get. I'm going to guesstimate roughly $50,000. So you have some income there. I would take that all and sell it right away. Get your money. You have a tipper, and they give you obviously a bunch of tractors. If this were my farm, I would not be keeping those tractors. I would keep the harvester because harvesters are really expensive, but I would sell off all this equipment, and I'm going to show you what I would buy. So let's go ahead and sell this off. We're going to pretend like we've sold the crops. I'm not going to do it for real, but we're going to get our lineup of what I think you should have for a starter kit for this, especially this farm because you have a lot of fields. And we'll go ahead and go do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the equipment down to the shop. I'll see you in just a second. So we've moved all of our equipment down to the shop. Now, if you're a noob to the game, you're going to say, well, Arthur, why don't you just go into your menu like I did before, the shop menu. We go into the garage and we click on the item and just sell it, right? Well, look at the price. So we're going to demonstrate here with our New Holland. Actually, we'll do this case. I'm sorry. We are getting $18,000 for this if I do this. All right, now I want to show you something. I'm going to drive. Uh-oh. I think, which one is it? Well, we're going to pick one and go. Actually, the pickup truck will be better because we can look at it here. If we look in here, the pickup truck, sorry, is $11,600 or $11,700, right? So I'm going to show you what is Arthur talking about? This is what Arthur is. Forget that jazz. This is what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to pull into the sell zone. And I'm going to sell this pickup truck. Now you're looking, okay, I just made $3,000 extra just because I brought it and sold it at the shop, right? So don't sell stuff through your menu. Sell stuff at the shop directly. You will make more money by about, like 15 or 20%. So we're going to go ahead and sell all this stuff off. Whoops, wrong pedal. I have a steering pedal set up with a clutch, and I pressed the clutch instead of the brake, just out of habit. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to go. I'll sell all this stuff off. We're going to sell everything we got here, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're selling the rest of this. So why would we do this? Well, first of all, we're reducing the daily overhead. Now that we can pay it, but I mean you've saved yourself probably $4,000 a day by selling off those old tractors. They do cost a lot of money, but the other, your new tractor is going to eventually be an old tractor, and it's going to cost a lot. Now you can see here we have $127,000. So we obviously don't have enough money to buy what we need. We're going to have to go in here and I'm going to totally max out our loan. So we'll see how much we have when we're done, but we need a bunch of stuff that we're going to have to buy. So we got $352,000 minus. Well, I haven't added the crop that we sold because I didn't sell it. So we'd actually have about $400,000 to work with if we did this map this way. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you my favorite tractor. There's two of them, but actually we should do that last. We need to get a seeder. We need a plow. Get this Amazon. This will fit any 180 horsepower tractor or smaller. It's a good plow. So boop. There's a cultivator / seeder that we need, and that is going to be, where's our seeder? Oh my gosh, I never can find it. There it is. There is our sewing machine. Boop. Buy that. Yep. Shows up. And so we have, these are what we need to maintain the fields. And then I'm going to, let's see, go here. We also need some kind of fertilization. You get real tight on cash. The $50,000 would go a long way to help this out. We're going to need a tipper. I would say for now, just run with one of these. It's fairly inexpensive. This is the HDK 302. Just buy it standard. There we go, $253. So you can see our money's going down and down and down. We do need to get a fertilizer set up. I would say get the Amazon rig. If you have the extra income, which we do, I would say add that to it. So what do we got here? We've got something to fertilize with. We've got something to plant and cultivate with. We've got a plow, and we've got a tipper. So we've got, a decent setup. We need a tractor to run all this stuff. But this is everything that we need to do our farming right now. And you can see, even without having the actual numbers in on normal, I've got enough money to make ends meet. If you didn't have enough money, you could always get the smaller, and I find that bang for the buck in this game, the Valtra's got it. You can make this one 185 horsepower and still be under the money. But to be honest with you, with that bigger equipment, I would say the T-Series is definitely the way to go. This guy's stock has 210 horsepower. So he's already above the requirements for anything that you need on the farm. The nice thing is with this guy, you can fit him with front loader arms, so we can use that. In fact, let's see. We'll max this guy out here. I think it's just one upgrade. Yep, still $190,000. We'll just use the standard wheels. I like red tractors. There we go. So for $192,000, we still have $31,000 left over. This is a nice setup for those of you that want to go for the standard farming route. I definitely recommend the Valtra. This is it. Look at that. So we were able to sell all that equipment and take out the loan. We still have $31,000 left over for working capital. And really, I didn't sell the crops, so we really have about $70,000 left over for working capital. This is everything that you need to get done what you need on medium or hard mode. So, ta-da, that's the lineup. Now, we're going to jump over to Sosnovka, and then we're going to come back for one more round. So let's hop over to Sosnovka and take a look at what we can do there. Okay, once again, we are on Sosnovka. This time we're looking at much... This is a hard map because they don't give you much to start with. I mean, you really don't have a lot of field space. This probably has half as much field as Goldcrest does, if not less. It's really a difficult starting map. So but it's a good challenge. So one of the things that you could do, I think you could take out your loan, and I would recommend if you're going to do this, you could go with the equipment that you have. And I might buy a bigger tipper, but I would spend most of the money on fields number 15 and 20 across the way. You also are going to need to get a plow, so you're going to have to probably settle for the smaller red plow. This guy, the Very Master, the $15,000 plow. I would plow fields 15 and 20 together into one field, and then use it as one big field, and that will get you a lot more crop. And that'll help you out. Now, one of the things that I didn't talk about that we need to go over real quick now that we're talking about buying fields and that kind of stuff. If you want to buy a field, and unfortunately the nearest one's I'll see if I can find one closer to my farm. So one of the things that's different on Farming Sim 17 versus the other ones is that the mission system has really been implemented deeply into the game. If you're having a hard time making income, and on this map, for sure you're going to have a hard time, come over here and see what your neighbors have. I'm going to jump on this guy, and we can buy this field for $349,000. Now, I don't have that kind of money, so that's not going to happen. But I could fertilize this field for this dude for $3,000. Now, I will warn you, some of these fertilizer missions are tough. They don't give you a lot of time. It's hard to see where you're fertilized. But there's harvesting missions, there's sowing missions, there's plowing missions, there's cultivation missions. They're all great. So, and what this also does for you is every time that you work for Stephen Bell or whoever, he starts to like you a little bit more. And the field cost goes down. So if you can fill this gauge all the way up so that it's 100% green, you could probably save a good 20% on the cost of this field, 15 to 20%. So instead of paying $349, you'd pay like $300. Maybe $320 or something like that. But he's going to come down in price the more he likes you. So it gives you two benefits. You not only get the field prices down, but you also get to get money for your farm. So if you're struggling for income, though, this is a good, especially on this farm, this is a good way to make income. But I just wanted to share that with you. Obviously, the other thing you could do is you got a tipper, and one of the new mechanics in this game that's different than the other farm games, and none of these trees around here are good examples, but you can start cutting down pine trees. You can see way back there, if you look back behind that building, you can see my little white circle above there. That's a pine forest over there. I can cut those trees down and cut them into maybe like 4-foot segments and throw the wood into the back of one of those tippers. So for $1,000, I can buy a chainsaw. I've already got everything else that I need. I just drag my tractor up there, or drag this trailer up there with the tractor and open it up. I can toss logs into this trailer, and then I can go down to the sawmill, which is over, there's 2 sawmills on this one. Lumberyard, which is directly north of where I am. You can see my little flashing icon if you look up north, and just a hair to the east, you can see the lumberyard. Also, down on the southwestern corner at the very bottom of the map, you'll see a lumberyard down there. You can take the logs to either place and sell them and make a couple $1,000s very quickly. If you want to just keep cutting them and throwing them in there and selling them and cutting them and throwing them in there and selling them, it's a good way to make money when you have nothing to do. So if you're tired of doing missions, that's another option for you. But those are two things that they've put into the game. Now, lumber was in 15 also. It doesn't pay as well as it did in 15, but it still pays well. So you can do some lumber, you can do some missions for your neighbors, and that's a good way to make some money. But that's how you buy a field too. So if you look at that, when I showed you that mission tag, if you remember, it also showed you could buy the field. So that is how you would buy those fields across the way. So I would take a loan out and buy those 2 fields, and then use the equipment that you already have to farm it. But this is going to be tedious, and you still need a plow. You don't have a plow, so you need to get a plow. But this stuff you can use, and those fields across combined, they cost about $140,000 if you don't do any missions. That would still leave you with about like 40 or 50,000 or more for more equipment. So you could buy a fertilizer, and you could buy the plow, and still have some money left over. And don't forget, we have crops to sell on this map too. On hard, you're not going to make much money, but you can still sell them. So that gives you an idea on this map of how to do if you want to go with the stock equipment. And this one, I would say, in my opinion, this one has more of a stock equipment just because you don't need bigger equipment because you don't really have much field. I would go for expanding fields first on this one. But you could, and you could sell all this stuff and take out a loan. It's going to be a lot tighter, though. I mean, I don't know that you'd be able to get the big Vultra. You probably could get the smaller Vultra. In fact, let's try it. I'll go ahead and sell these. I'll be right back. And as you can see, the cheese is already falling out of my sandwich. We're $30,000 less on this farm. Plus, we haven't even sold, with our crops, we're going to make less because I have it on hard. So if we played this on medium, it might be different. But since I'm playing on hard, we're not going to look at how little crop there is. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, they gave us no crop. Okay, so I guess on hard mode, you don't get any crop. Wow. So, well, this is good because we'll see exactly what we're going to get. Now we're going to try to take a loan out and see what happens with this. So let's go ahead and grab the loan screen. Borrow, 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 borrow. Bazillions of dollars we're going to borrow. Everything that we can. Wow, we're really in the red already today. There we go. Oh, the funds are just not there. Look at how much less. We had 300 something on the other map and on medium. So we are just, wow. So what do we get? Well, let's take a look. This is where some of those DLCs might come in handy because we need to get our equipment first so that we can see how much we have left over for a tractor. We might not, this may not even work, and this is why I wanted to try this out. First things first, the sewing machines. You might want to, you have smaller fields. You might want to go with this Kuhn. If we're doing the DLC, the Kuhn Espro might be a good fit because it's faster than the little seeder that you had, and it's a little bit wider, and it cultivates when you're doing it, so you don't have to cultivate. It's expensive, though. The other option would be, once again, we could go with our this guy, but he's got a much higher horsepower requirement. I don't know. Well, let's try it. We're going to do one of these. We definitely need a fertilizer pack, but we'll get to that last because we can at least do crops. We're going to need a plow. I'll get this guy. I'm assuming we're going to have to get the smaller tractor. I think that assumption is very correct because we're already like way down on money. We still need to get a tipper because we didn't get a tipper, so we're going to get our AgriLiner, which is, pretty much the right size here. So we have $176,000 left over. Money's dropping like flies. We still don't have a fertilization method, so we're going to need to grab a fertilizer. And I'd say in this case, once again, this is still, I think, the best bang for the buck. Oh, man, we are just really going to be short on cash. I still would do the front tank, though, because it balances the tractor out. Last but not least, we're going to go for the small Vultra. Sorry about that. I picked the wrong tractor here. We're looking for the small Vultra. And why I like the Vultra? Because you can jack this thing up with horsepower. So we're going to go up to that, $20,000, $139,000. We're still within our budget. Yay! So we can buy it. If you want to get fancy, you can make a different color. We have no money. That's it, man. So we got $7,000 left over. We are broke. The downside with doing this is we still have the same crappy field amounts. We'll get decent yield out of our crops, but now it's just going to be a really slow game of trying to make money, and we're not going to make much. So this is a long investment here. Like I said, you're almost better off just working with the equipment they have and buying those 2 extra fields and getting a plow and a fertilizer. But you could just use what you have and definitely not spend as much. But this equipment will cost you less each day. And the Vulture's got lots of horsepower. It's 180 horsepower. So you got plenty of equipment to pull all this stuff, except for this guy. This thing's going to give you problems on the hills. But because Sosnovka is fairly flat where the fields are, and most of the fields on this map are very flat, you shouldn't have a problem pulling this cultivator or this harvester. Oh my gosh, this seeder with the Vulture tractor. It should be plenty of horsepower to do that on flat, open terrain. So not a problem there. But really, we still need to buy a weight too. We don't even have a weight for the. I suppose you could just use your Amazon and fill it up with liquid and use that as a weight, but this is going to leave us really hurting, guys. I mean, this is really, you're starting hard. So anyway, that is what I would do on Sosnovka. Once again, personally, I would just go with the equipment that they have on there and try to expand the farm and get maybe a couple more pieces of equipment to help the farm along, but I would really stick with what it's got. And like I said, once again, you might even upgrade that crappy Kverneland seeder to if you had enough to the Espro, but that's all, there's a million different ways to do it, but you could do this Espro for 32,000. And both of the tractors that you have to start with can pull this. So the Zetters, that is, either the Proxima or the Forterra, they both can pull that. So, all right, so now we're going to get to the second part of the video, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit in the first portion. We're talking we're basically going to change over to a grass farm. If you want to make more money, right now, I don't know if you guys remember, in Farm Sim 15, making silage at the biogas plant just earned you gobs of money. Like, it was an unstoppable flow of income. You could overnight go from having no money to like $1 million. Well, they've nerfed that in this game. FS17 took a different route and they nerfed it. But silage bales are still pretty valuable. So when they start you off on this farm, and this is, you got to look at each farm differently and see what you got, but they give you a lot of land. Okay, you've got 1, 2, 3 big fields to start with. On hard mode, these fields, let's say we grew wheat on all 3 fields or canola, you're going to average about $40,000 to $50,000 a crop on these fields. If you grow grass and you turn them into silage bales and sell them at the little red barn, which is where'd the barn go? There it is. You can see that barn off there in the distance where my white cursor is. That barn, all you do is collect them and sell them over there at the barn. You're going to make between $80,000 and $90,000 a crop. So it's a little bit more work, except there's a couple things. With grass, once you plant it, it's planted. You don't have to keep plowing. You don't have to keep planting. It's just there. So you let it grow for a couple days, and then you mow it, and you sell a crop. And then you let it grow for a couple days, and you mow it, and you sell a crop. This is a good way to get the farm started. It is a little tedious, but if you're ready to go back to normal crops, you can earn money pretty quickly to get nice equipment to go back to normal crops. And you'll have most of the equipment that you need to do cows. So if you want to start growing your cows, you can use the equipment that you've purchased to do this to get cows. Now, before you sell, I've gone and sold all the equipment. I've sold the harvester, the tractors, the pickup truck, the seeder, the everything I did. What you're seeing on my screen right now is wrong, okay? Before you sell everything, you need to go in here. You'll see you have all of your different commodities that they've given you. If you play on easy or medium, you're going to have commodities to sell. If you play on hard, those will be empty. But you can see over there now what I'm looking at right here with my cursor, that is your grain silo. You want to take your tipper. You want to empty out each of those ingredients and sell them to different places on the map. So like right now, let's say I'm going to sell all this wheat. I look and see, well, right now, Mary's Farm has the best price. So I look at my map, and I see that Mary's Farm is in the very bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to take that tipper, and I'm going to sell that wheat at Mary's Farm. And then I go back in again. I fill the tipper up with barley. Well, let's look here. Barley's going for $5.61. That's our best price at Mary's Farm once again. So we're going to take that to Mary's Farm. Now, the best price for canola is at Denton Bakery. So if we look on our map, Denton Bakery is kind of close to us in the middle of the map there. If you look at my guy flashing, if you go straight south, you'll see Denton Bakery in town there. So you want to sell off all those crops with your tipper. You then want to go down into town to the shop, and you want to rent a plow. You're going to take a tractor downtown to the shop, get a plow. It's going to be one of the smaller ones because the tractors can only pull certain plows. So I recommend for the Case tractor, the right plow is going to be this red one for 50. Don't buy it, rent it. So you click on it like you're going to buy it, but then you click lease instead of buy. You don't need to buy it because you're only going to use it once. So lease the guy, bring it back to the farm, plow all these fields. These fields all need to be plowed before you plant because they haven't been plowed yet. So you're gonna run that plow on all 3 of these fields, get everything plowed under because this stubble needs to be plowed in, and there'll be stubble on that field once you've harvested that. So, and then you're going to take the cultivator they give you, and you're going to cultivate this, and then they're going to take the seeder they gave you, and you're going to seed grass. So plant grass on all these fields. Once that step is done, you can sell all the equipment like I've done here. I've gone to the shop and I've sold all the equipment. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go into your finances like we did before, and you are going to borrow all the money that you can borrow. So we have a lot of money on this map. This map is very friendly for starters. We've got $300,000 that we can loan. We've taken out $394,000. That should be more than enough to get the equipment that we need to start a grass farm on this farm. So we can go with some bigger, just big equipment. So the first thing that we're going to need for this mowing setup, we don't need a harvester because there's no need for a harvester because we're not going to be harvesting anything but bales. On this farm, and we're going to run into some issues. We will have, if you've sold all your commodities, you'll have an additional $50,000 or so. I really recommend the Valtra. Once again, it's a good price. And then I would up the horsepower to the most that you can get, 250 horsepower. You don't need arms. You don't really need anything but the tractor itself. Now, I'm going to have a little fun here. Oh, no, I didn't load it. Okay, I have the special edition cow version of this tractor, but whatever. It's not. I didn't load it. So, but this is all you need. It's 250 horsepower. It can do everything that you need to do with grass. So 190. That leaves us with some limited resources, okay? The next thing that we definitely need is a set of mowers. So we're going to get some mowers here. We're going to grab the Pottinger NovaCat. And I do Pottinger stuff because the Lely stuff is more expensive, so just grab the cheaper stuff. It's fine. These rear Lely's are a little bit wider, though. These are 9 meters, and I think these are like 8.4, but whatever. It's close enough that it doesn't really matter. I'm sure over 6 months of doing grass farming, it could make a difference, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to grab these. But they'll all work. So we got a mower. You're going to need a windrower to make your life easier as you go to pick up, because the windrower can row all 3 of those mows into one. And so let's do that. So we're going to purchase that. So we have $123,000 left over. Now, I wish we could afford the big stuff. We can't really. Right now, we can't afford. If you have the Kuhn pack, your best bet's to grab the Kuhn square bale wrapper, the big baler, and the Arkusen, because you can pick up 16 bales at a time with this. The downside is, well, you can see here we're looking at almost $200,000. I'm maxed out. I don't have it, so we can't do that. But we can do the next best thing. And since these fields are all close to the magic barn, we don't need a huge setup. So we can get the roller belt that's only $58,000. I'm going to buy that. Boop. And we're going to get our Ursus. Now, we're going to have to pick these up manually for now, so we're going to need... Geez, I thought we'd have enough to get this guy. Hold on one second. So, if I was a good boy and I had sold the crop like I was supposed to, I'd have enough money for this, but right now I don't. So what we're going to do instead, watch this. This tractor's awesome. This is the one I recommend. Sell your crop and get this tractor. But we do have another option here. So I'm going to sell this. We'll lose some money on this, but let's go ahead and do this. I lost about $5,000. But we have a ton of money now. What we're going to do is we're going to buy our we're going to buy the smaller Valtra. And once again, the Valtra I think is where it's at for horsepower. If you don't like Valtra, that's fine. Buy a different tractor. But the best horsepower for the buck comes from this tractor. So, boop. There we go. Now we have enough money to buy our trailer. And this setup will work just as well. It's just that this tractor is a little undersized for the... where's the baling technology? I'm missing it again. There we go. So we're going to buy the Ursus pickup wagon. I really recommend doing it this way, though. It's really a pain to work with the round bales and try to get them all. You can use mods to do it, though, too. You don't have to get this particular equipment. But this is the in-game recommended setup. So you get the maxed out horsepower on your Valtra. That's the N174. That's 185 horsepower. It's got enough power to run both of these mowers, and that's awesome. You also have your windrower, your baler, your wrapper. So all you're going to do is when that grass grows, you're going to mow it. You're going to windrow it. You're going to bale it. You're going to wrap it. And then you're going to start picking up those wrapped bales once it's all finished. And you're going to drop them off at your little red barn. And voila. You'll have $80,000 off of those 3 fields. So this map works really well for that. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at Sosnovka. The resources are very different on Sosnovka. So it's going to be a harder time making money, but you can still make some. Okay. So we're on Sosnovka. I sold everything, but forgot to put the tipper in. The tipper's worth about $8,000. So let's say roughly with our money that we start with on medium, we have 100. We made about $80,000 on equipment. So we have about half of the amount of money that we had on Goldcrest. Now, you could theoretically on this map, because the finances are so tight and the tractors aren't worth a ton, you could keep your it's not the Proxima, it's the Forterra, which is the bigger tractor. That's the 130 horsepower. You could sell all your stuff, but keep that tractor and upgrade it to 150 horsepower. And that tractor would be enough horsepower to do what we're going to do on this map. I'm going to go for the Valtra, though. Valtra also works theme-wise with this map, but if you like the Russian equipment, you can stick with your Zetter equipment. So I need to sell this tipper. This is under the assumption, once again, that you've done what I told you in the last one. You've sold all your crop using the tipper. You've harvested the field and sold that crop. You've cultivated and plowed both, or plowed and cultivated both the fields, and you planted grass. So we have fields number 14, 19. They both need to be growing grass at this point. And now I've sold the equipment except for the DB8, which I'm stupid, but we'll deal with that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and buy a tractor. And, we need to take out the loan. Duh. So we need to go to our finances page. And once again, I'm playing on not playing on hard. I'm playing on medium. You'll have less of a loan. It gets even harder on hard. In fact, you're probably most definitely going to have to keep the Zetter if you're going to play on hard. Because you're just not, in fact, you may not even be able to upgrade it because you're going to be so tight on finances. You're only going to have like 100, maybe 200,000. So these are the things that we absolutely have to have. You're not going to need a windrower because we're going to buy this disc bine, okay? So there's that. This mows and somewhat windrows. It kind of works like one of those little speed rowers. You don't need a windrower, but we do need the baling equipment, so we're going to need the same stuff that we got before. And let's see how we do. It's going to be really close. We're going to buy this, all right? And we're going to buy this. This stuff's expensive. You buy that. Man, that doesn't leave much, does it? We still have 170, so we're good. Let me look at the equipment and make sure we have everything that we need. We've got our mower rower. We can, once we've mowed and rowed, we can bale, we can wrap, and we can sell. All right, so we have enough money to buy our Valtra. And you can get actually any tractor that you want here now because of the amount of money we have. I honestly would recommend keeping some back to keep your finances together, but we no longer have the expensive harvester, broken tractors, that kind of stuff. But if you want to go with the Zetter, we could have just kept the Forterra, or you can buy a brand new one that has less hours. Let's see how much this costs with 150 horsepower. This is plenty of horsepower for your setup. You can add a front loader to it, and this thing's going to cost $109,000. Or you could buy the newer Valtra if you like the more modern tractor. You could even get the biggest upgrade. This is 140. So we have enough money to do either of those tractors. I always go with what's cheapest. So we're going to buy a new Forterra. But like I said, we could have kept the other Forterra, but it had a lot of hours on it, which costs us a lot more per day. Though you will eventually have a lot of hours on this tractor too, but that one was getting close to being ready to be sold. So we'll buy this, and we got 150 horsepower. That's plenty. Now I want to show you something about this map that's a little bit different than Goldcrest. So let's go ahead and hop in the Forterra. I'm going to take the disc mine with me to kind of show you the operations here. And I'm going to have you stay with me while I drive around so you get an idea where this stuff is on the map so you're not lost. So, lights. There we go. And I suck. Oh, I got the disc mine stuck on the door. It's a little wide. There we go. Oh, you know what, too? We've even got a little bit more money because we can sell this tipper. Or you can keep the tipper if you want to, use it for logging once again. You want, run up to that pine forest right there, cut those trees down, throw them in the back of this tipper, then keep it. Don't sell it. Once again, this is on medium, but we have lots of money to spare, so I bet you could do this on hard now that I'm looking at it and still be okay. All right, cool. I don't have the automatic start on and off, so this thing's turning on and off by itself. So let's run back to the farm. I'll catch up with you when I get down to the farm, and you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so I am rolling into town. You can see here, I want to show you. This is our main farm. Over to the left is where you start on this farm. I got a car creeping up my butt here. That's the main farm. Here to the right, this little building, this is where you're going to roll your bales to, okay? Off there are the fields, and you can see I didn't plant grass like I told you to do, so do as I say, not as I do. But literally, that's where you need to plant the grass. So, can you see my beacons, dude? I'm busy. So anyway, but this is where you sell them. You can store all your baling equipment over here, but I want to show you where the grass fields are. So if you take this little road outside of the farm, and we'll do a little bit of disc mine operation just so you can see how this guy works. It's actually a pretty cool mower. And like I said, it does do some windrowing. I mean, if you want to eventually upgrade to a windrower to help collect faster, you can, but it goes pretty fast with this. So let's go. You're going to ride out here. At the fork, you're going to go straight, or take a right, I guess. That goes off somewhere else. Climb the hill past the forest. There's our forest. You can see here in more detail what it looks like. Here on the left, we have a grass field coming up. There's one of the free fields. And you can see it's a significant amount of grass. I mean, it's not huge, but it's enough to make 5 or 6 bales. I mean, that's $25,000. I mean, it's free. You didn't even have to plant it. So, and you don't, like with the other grass fields, you don't ever have to plant those again. So you get this field here. This will probably give you like 4 or 5 bales. I mean, and then once again, over here, you got all this space. And a little secret, this field here, this section of fields, these are not ownable. So you could actually plant here and turn these into grass and make it even a bigger field. So if you want to, before you sell your cedar and stuff, if you want to come over here and plant these fields with grass, or later on down the road when you've got enough money. I mean, you got enough money now to buy a cedar, but so let's go ahead and turn the disc mine on. I got to figure out how to do that because I don't have my, I'm not using my steering wheel like I normally do. So I'll swing this bad boy around, and we'll start our first line. So I'm going to drop the disc mine and put it into use. How do I lower this thing? There we go. So we're going to mow. Kind of run it along the edge here. You can see how nice of a line it makes. And I'm not going to go all the way down because I just want to show you how it operated when you get to the end. So you're going to raise it back up when you get to the end of your stroke. And you're going to flip it the other way. And you're going to come out here and make a U-turn. What you do is you put your wheels on the part that you mowed. So then all you have to do is drive down. You'll get the hang of this. There's all different kinds of ways you can do it, but then you drop the mower and you just follow the line that you mowed last time, and you'll get all the grass. There it goes. You can see the nice windrowed lines. That's how you use that disc mine, but I thought I'd share that with you. And now all you do is you take this grass, you bale it, you wrap it, You collect it with your little collecting wagon, and you sell it at that shed that I showed you, and that's it. And you're going to make a lot more money this way than you would if you started with the default equipment that they give you. But there's a lot of people in this game that are traditional farmers that don't really like the grass work and don't feel that it's a valid way to do it. So, man, it's up to you, whichever you feel guilty or not guilty about. I don't particularly care. I mean, either way. Sometimes I like to do a farm and get it started and do work like at neighbors and stuff like that, keep the original equipment, but then add the grass equipment in. And as the farm grows, I start doing more grass work, but I do it on fields where, like, I might make one field grass and then leave the other ones crop, so you can get a nice balance. But to start your farm, if you want to grow quickly, this last method is really the best method in the game. Now, animal husbandry, like I said before, you can't really start a farm with animal husbandry. You just don't have the funding. Even if you took a loan out and got a bunch of cows, you're not going to have enough money for the balers and the mowing equipment and the big enough tractors to pull all that stuff. It's really difficult to get started with cows or pigs, or sheep are the easiest because all you need is a mower and either a baler or with a collecting wagon. Collecting wagon is probably the cheapest way to go, but still it costs money. So you could do animals along with crops or animals along with grass, but they take a long time to start making money. So I really feel like the animals come a little bit later on in the game. Some people I'm sure do it, but they don't make enough money to make them worthwhile when you're starting. So anyway, I hope this tutorial has been helpful for you guys. I hope that you found it useful as you kind of, go through the game and get started playing. But if you really want to make if you really want to make money fast, this is really kind of the best setup for you. So I will see you guys next time on my channel. Once again, if you like to watch people playing the farm sim, I've got a ton of different series that you can watch. We have a bunch of stuff from other games too, like Truck Sim, Train Sim. And I love to have you guys come on and watch and have you be part of my family. Have a great night, guys. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. If you want to donate, there is a link to PayPal in the description. See you guys next time.